So, hey, what do you think? You guys up for a few rounds of Hunchback? Yeah, yeah. Let's talk the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, boy, of course, going the way I'm going with the classic monsters and whatnot, I know you guys are thinking I'm gonna hang on the Disney. No. The 1923 version with Lon Chaney Sr. as Hunchback. And there are good reasons to do that. Uh, just that makeup is iconic. Just he looks terrific, and I mean, there are just legends about Chaney's makeup and his innovations and the torture he put his body through with some of this crap. And boy, you look at that scene where he's on the pillory and they're whipping him and whatnot. Boy, it looks like torture. And it looks like he's going through torture just trying to function in that outfit. And, which is the case a lot of the time. I mean, God Almighty, Phantom of the Opera, and, what he did to create that face. Oh, if you don't know about it, read up on it. It's an eyeful. Um, and as much as I love the silent version, my favorite, the goat for me, is the 1939 version with Charles Lawton as Quasimodo and Maureen O'Hara as Esmeralda, and then Sir Cedric Hardwick doing a really good job as Claude Frollo, the evil monk who's trying to kind of twist things his way and take and manipulate Quasimodo at the same time, kind of low key take Esmeralda for himself, and that's a fantastic role. Chaney kind of leaves it all on the floor, and he's but it kind of presents in a lot of ways. It seems to present Quasimodo as more of a monster, whereas the very first time and the makeup used for Quasimodo in the 1939 version is quite good. Um, the first I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old, probably 9 years old when I first saw that, and I first saw it, the first time his face pops in there, I'm like, ah! But but he's astonishing at breathing life into it. At first, he comes off as being kind of like this dumb henchman that's off, just running around trying to get this girl for Claude Frollo, and eventually, he gets caught doing his mischief, and he gets pilloried and whipped and all this stuff in the public square, and the girl he tried so hard to kidnap is taking pity on him and giving him water and trying to make him feel better, and and you do really feel for him. And later on, when you find out, you get further and further into his character later on, when he rescues her and holds her, under sanctuary laws in the cathedral. uh, you just get a lot of the picture. It's just this poor abused, kind of malformed guy is actually just kind of got a lot of depth and a lot of deep sadness in him, and of course, he falls in love with Esmeralda. What else could he possibly do? And she, and just you know, and you know, she ain't gonna end up with Quasimodo. Let's be real. But in the end, yeah, the Parisian underground rallies, despite many losses. You see Quasimodo running around the battlements, boiling his lead, just kind of, oh, molten lead, molten lead. But he kind of misunderstands the situation completely and creates a lot of danger and a lot of mayhem. But in the end, her kind of fellow kind of you know thieves and rapscallions kind of rescue her and whisk her off, and just they say, "Well, thank God we're safe now." Yes, thanks God. Someone says, "Yes, thank God," and thanks to Quasimodo. And Quasimodo, he's like alone up on the battlements with his gargoyles, and just kind of looking at them and looking very sad, and just saying, how I wish I was made of stone like thee." And first time I saw that, like age 8 or 9, and I was just kind of like, that's funny. What the hell does that even mean? And of course, as you get older and you get repeat viewings of it, and you're like, oh God, that's awful. Oh God, it's so sad. So just the older you get, the more it hits you, and the more life you've lived, the more it's like, yeah, I understand that perfectly. So very affecting, and a very kind of a real kind of subtle sledgehammer way to end that movie. The 1957 version with Anthony Quinn, they kind of downplay his grotesqueness, and they just kind of have him as kind of like he's a guy. He's a guy. He's a guy with some deformities, and he's kind of shambles around and does his thing. But I would say he's as effective in the role. The one thing that can be said about that adaptation is it's probably the one that's the most like Victor Hugo's book, and which is it's a miserable book and it's a miserable movie, and but they cut right as far as to go the miserable ending where they she dies, and he's all sorrowful and hurt and sad about it. And in the postscript, you kind of see, well, as they were excavating beneath the catacombs, and they found this body that had been there for centuries. And when they tried to separate, they found this one well-formed body and then a malformed body with it. And when they tried to separate the malformed skeleton from the other one, it crumbled to dust. And it's like, yeah, boy, what a postscript on that. It's like, this is the way Victor Hugo ended the book, and says, basically, it's not even, you might do kind of your head might do kind of a Rose for Emily sort of thing with that, where it's like, oh, he was a necro. I wasn't a necro, but boy, how sad is your existence, and how tragic is your life when you're trying to where you eventually just pry your loved one's coffin, or your loved one, the object of your affections, pry open their coffin and crawl in to be dead with them. You go and die with them. That's Jesus Christ. Yeah, like I said, miserable book, miserable adaptation, and Anthony Quinn, as ever a stalwart, kind of does the job. Lon Chaney's makeup is iconic. Yeah, Lon Chaney's makeup is iconic to me. It's still to this day pretty much Charles Laughton is the go in that, and that is the best adaptation. And I put it up. I think I saw one back in the 90s. Was it in the 90s or maybe early 2000s? And it was like, I think Mandy Patinkin plays him, and Salma Hayek plays Esmeralda, and somebody else plays Captain Phoebus, and and it's similar in a lot of ways to the Latin version. Um, in some ways, it's like the Anthony Quinn version really follows the book quite well. As far as adaptations go, they're all very different. Yeah, the silent version with Chaney kind of tells it one way, and they kind of have this whole thing, and then it gets told another way with with the 39 version with Lawton. It gets told pretty much straight in the 1957 version. In this other version, it's kind of really a cross between both the Lawton version and the Chaney version, while not being particularly faithful to Victor Hugo either. But I kind of didn't mind. I thought it was pretty watchable. Disney, yeah, less said about the better. Not going there. Anyway, but that's pretty much my Hunchback breakdown, and hope you hope you all enjoyed it. If you like, hit subscribe. Always loving having more subscribers. I love those views. Let me know you were here. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Maybe comment down there. Say what you think. Uh, Click that little bell icon there. It'll tell you when I put new videos up, and from there, I don't know, do what thou will. Anyway, I'll probably talk more about some classic monsters. I've yet to tackle the big two, and I got to get to that. Basically, adios, muchachos, and hope your day is going well. Molten metal, molten metal. Sorry. Anyway. Oh, not really. I'm a shameless idiot. Anyway, take care.